Good morning and welcome to the Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu podcast, episode 090. I'm Isaac Tauaefa and I'm here with
Josh Straussberger.
JP Dinnell. What's up, y'all?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
It's great to see you.
You as well. It's good to be seen.
It's good.
I want to hit you in the face with that camera.
Go ahead. Actually, well, mine's more dangerous. It's got a rough edge because I dropped it. And you see what I did? I could have given you this one, but I gave you that one instead.
That was very kind of you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Choosing kindness.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning.
I would
This
rather
one's kind of dirty.
suffer myself than have you suffer.
It's kind of dirty.
You can use this
We're gonna
one.
hit this right away.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, let's go. Pour one out for the homies.
Get out of my shoe. My socks
My
are
sneakers.
That's all I was thinking about. It's like him just pouring it into your shoe just now. I was like, all right, I got to take a break.
Yeah,
We're gonna start over.
I take my shoe off and I put my wet sock foot in your lap at least or on your face.
The entire podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be here with you guys this morning. It was
Absolutely.
nice that it was cold this morning for like the first time, really.
Yeah.
You know?
I had enough cold in Virginia,
Oh, yeah.
but at least we were
It's
dry.
still lasting.
Yeah.
That's where Joshy's at, Virginia. What city were you in?
We were in Roanoke.
Okay.
What area of Virginia? is
He's
he in?
like in the Blacksburg area.
We were 30 minutes from Blacksburg.
Dang,
we
yeah.
actually stayed in
live
Christiansburg.
there?
That's
now?
where he lives. He lives in
What?
Christiansburg. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yes, yeah.
We were that close to your brother?
Yeah, yeah.
We
I should have told you. I didn't
we were
know
there
y'all
for
were
4 days.
Yeah, bro. You could have absolutely seen him.
Man.
Were you there on a Friday?
No.
Okay.
Mondays.
He's off on Fridays.
I got
but he would've
there-
made time
Yeah,
to
but we
come
could
see him.
have met him for dinner.
Yeah.
I'll tell him. He's
We had
gonna
an
be-
off day on Wednesday.
That's crazy because Christiansburg's not like people are like I'm going to Christiansburg, Virginia.
Yeah, it's not huge.
Yeah, we
No.
flew into Roanoke and drove over.
That's wild, man. That's really cool though. I'll tell him he'll be like, what? No way. Man.
Well, I got some good. I got a good sushi spot for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's probably
Oh,
been,
yeah.
he probably sniffed it out already. Him
It's
and
in
his
the
wife.
mall. It's
Oh,
in
really?
It's
it's in
No
a,
way.
unassuming.
it's in like an
old mall.
old mall that has like 4 stores, but there's a sushi spot.
That
Hey,
was awesome.
I gotta
When
say,
we got there, I was like, what?
When I went there the first time by myself, and I was like, but man, it's got really good ratings.
yeah,
So I was like, I'll go check it out. And usually, if I can go into a sushi place, and if it doesn't like there's also like a smell to
smell
Yeah, yeah,
fishy,
yeah.
or like they don't not good hygiene. They're not
Yeah.
cleaning under their tables.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was just like, well, I'll try it out,
yeah,
and it was awesome.
It was a legit spot. But yeah,
Dude.
walking in there, it's like,
yeah.
is there a Sbarro in here?
You gotta say I mean, I gotta say I'm so grateful. You gotta be grateful for friends that are the type of guys that will be like, okay, sushi spot in the mall in Virginia, in this small town in Virginia, let's go. And they got to test it out because it's like you went before. I trust it now. Now I can send my brother over there.
Yeah,
And
I
you guys
didn't-
are still alive.
I didn't really think about that because I know, just from my dad being in the restaurant industry forever, that you can get fresh
Yeah.
seafood for sushi anywhere in the United States, less than 24 hours of it coming off the boat.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's flash frozen, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like kept really cold and
Yeah, so it's, I mean, that's when people are like, oh, you eat sushi in Mississippi? I'm like, some of the best sushi I've ever had
Yeah.
was in Mississippi. Some of the best sushi I've ever
Yeah,
had
that's good.
here in Texas, right? And then there's been a few places where we're on the road with FTXs, middle of Iowa,
Yeah.
Ohio,
There's always
now
a-
Virginia, but
Yeah.
also Virginia is not far from the coast.
That's
Yeah,
true
no.
too.
So, and neither was Mississippi. People don't like think
it's
about
right there.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll look at the ratings and then I'll kind of walk in like, hey, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. Not sure what I'm. Sometimes,
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Let me look for a minute.
yeah. I'm not
So
sure if I'm full. Might be hungry. I don't know.
I don't know yet.
I'm gonna do. Let's talk about our sponsors really quick, and then I
Yes,
want to talk
please.
about something, and then jiu-jitsu, and then the word.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, so our sponsor for today's podcast is a guy that actually is involved with the Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu community, and I just got to meet for the first time. We all got to meet him for the first time last week. His name is Paris Lee. So shout out to Paris Lee, but it's not just him. It's him and his wife, Angie Garazia.
I think Garazia, yeah.
Is that how we decided? We had to Google it. I'm sorry, Paris, I didn't get to ask you, but we Googled how to pronounce this, so that's the best I can come up with. But they have a law firm, an immigration law firm, Lee and Grazia, and they specialize in immigration law. So I asked them to just send me. I always ask our sponsors to send me a little info, because even though we most of the time know these people personally, we want you guys to hear from them where their heart is. So he said, I don't have anything special for you guys to read, but myself, Paris Lee, and my wife, Angie Grazia, operate and own a law firm, Lee and Grazia, in New Jersey. They're both born-again Christians, and they concentrate in immigration law, which is federal, so they can help people throughout all 50 states. He says, I personally specialize in sports visas for jiu-jitsu athletes and have represented the biggest names out there, such as Fionn, Adele, several members of New Wave, and B-Team. The Lord has blessed me so much with jiu-jitsu that I just want to glorify him on the mats and help others come to a saving knowledge of our Lord. That is awesome. That's the heart of the people that this is the heart of Jesus in jiu-jitsu, this heart that exists here. He wants to use the skill set and the knowledge that God gave him to glorify God and to lift up other people, and he wants people to come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. And so I'm happy. It's my pleasure to get to talk about his company here on the podcast. His Instagram handle is at BJJ Visa Lawyer. BJJ VISALAWYER, Visa Lawyer. And their website is
following
NJ, like New Jersey, NJImmigrationattorney.com. NJImmigrationattorney.com. And so a lot of you know, because you're a part of the jiu-jitsu community, you know a professor or a friend that trains with you that is dealing with some kind of immigration law issue. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they specialize in immigration law as subject matter, so they can take care of other people as well who are dealing with immigration law. But because he has a passion for jiu-jitsu, they really focus in on he focuses a lot on BJJ athletes. So most of the time coming from Brazil. So if you know anybody in that boat, we actually talked about someone on the podcast a while back, and we were talking about raising funds for this person. Yeah. Up in Maine. So the same thing.
Yeah. So this is awesome. Yeah. His wife, her page is at LeandGarasia. That's his wife's page. And in August of 2014, top attorneys in New Jersey, selected by peer recognition and professional achievement. So, they're obviously good at what they do. Yep. But I think that's really cool. Yeah.
And getting to represent and work with some of the top names in jiu-jitsu, brought them over here, helped them get over here.
Which is awesome. And then even not the top names, but just the fact that they have a heart for helping people come here legally.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's some scumbags in this industry that know that they can take advantage of people. I know Darwin dealt with that. Yep. Joao and his wife dealt with that for a while. Yeah. Who else was it? Pedro and Stephanie, Rodrigo and Monique also. Yeah. They all of a sudden they thought they're supposed to be good, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, you owe us another $5,000.
Man.
And they would just kept doing that.
Yeah, and you can't. What are you gonna? You don't know the law. You can't fight back. You're just like, okay, I have to trust you. Yeah. Well, if you want an upstanding group that loves the Lord, they're guided by they're Bible believing Christians, and they are led by that ethic and subject to God's law, then you can check them out, Lee and Grazia. The page again, if you need information on their services, NJImmigrationattorney.com.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
Did you watch him roll? He was the guy, he showed up in all the no-gi. Yeah. And I was like, oh, my man. Yeah. Like, you could tell, like, he was just happy to be there, wanted to train. Yeah. I remember talking with him a little bit. Now that I'm looking at his pictures, I'm like, what a good human, man.
He was great, man.
What a good human.
Super.
Well, thank you for the support.
Yeah.
And, it's cool. It's like, when you, we appreciate all of our sponsors, and we have phenomenal sponsors. And it's just really cool when you have somebody like this guy who, came to the event, is like, hey, I want to help you out. I mean, I don't know, man. I love that.
Yeah, he had a great heart. I just loved meeting him, and I love that he really provides a great service to the community, the jiu-jitsu community. As always, we need to give some love to Jocko Fuel. Thank you to Jocko Fuel for your continued support.
JockoFuel.com.
Yeah.
JJJ10. Save 10%. Helps the ministry get 10% as well.
Pretty good deal.
Sweet deal.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers it.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Cheers. All right. So,
Well,
what else you got?
Well, so we were talking a little bit. This is just a throwaway conversation, but I was curious because of you guys, because of your advanced ages, both of you. You've had exposure to many movies over the years.
No.
From like
I would say a normal amount of
from
movies.
like black and white films all the way through current. You know, kind of like when you guys got color TV and all that stuff.
That was definitely, I think, my wife's experience.
Oh yeah, because she's like 1 year older than you.
Oh no, she's way older than me, bro.
And mine too.
She's like our wives are like close to 50.
Yeah. Way closer to 50 than we are.
Way closer than you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dang,
Yeah.
you guys like really outkicked your coverage. You went up. That's hard to do.
We went up in looks and age.
Yes, that's amazing.
Because they're really old and really good looking. So
Really old.
Like elves.
Yeah.
yeah.
Lord of the Rings elves.
I've never watched Lord of the Rings.
Bro.
Don't start. I'm not going to.
We're not. Well, you need to.
No,
It was like a Christmas tradition for my family, but it's light versus dark. It's good versus evil, and it's battle, bro.
You know,
it's swords,
nobody's
it's-
ever said what you just said. That's actually intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, you should watch this movie. It's awesome. It's a bunch of little people. I'm like, nope.
No,
out.
no.
There are
No,
little
dude.
people.
There are, but
But is there magic in it?
yeah, but
See,
like,
I'm out. I don't do
It's
that.
not
Well,
like
no,
a
no.
ton.
no. And the
It's
guy that
different.
wrote it is like, I think it has a lot of Christian themes and principles to that's light versus dark. It's good versus evil, and so the magic is like just the spiritual realm. So
He's
Yeah.
not like
Collins
Gandalf.
is-
He's
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Isn't he a wizard?
yeah, but he
So
doesn't.
A wizard can't be good.
No, he fights with
I see
a
what you're
sword.
Yeah, but a wizard can't be good if you're using magical powers.
I see what
That's
you're saying.
demonic
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's more in my interpretation. It was like how we use okay, we're tied into the good side of spirituality, which
Yeah,
our power
for
comes
sure.
from God,
Yep,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
He's gifted us
We have
with
power and authority on
right,
earth. Yep.
and so we use that power and authority to push back darkness and evil,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Yeah.
anyway, it's legit swords,
I mean, okay.
bows, crossbows, axes,
Trebuchets.
just smashing orcs, you
Yeah.
know.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
So what
back
were you
to
saying?
anyway, so we were gonna
Anyway.
we were talking a little bit before, and I was like, wait, I want these people to hear that, but we were talking about the best villains or worst villains in movies,
Okay.
like the best bad guys out there. Like, ooh, that was a bad. You said before we started, you said the bad guy from No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for
that
sure.
guy. He's just like at
He's
the very
terrifying,
end. You don't
yeah.
know what he does. You assume, but he's just like, I have a code I live by, or something
Right,
along that
yeah.
lines. And you're like, no, please don't do that.
Yeah. Like it's over. You can
It's
you
okay.
can be done.
It's
And
okay. Oh no.
She
What
says
does
like
he say?
she says
Oh,
like
yeah, she's-
you don't have to do this.
And he says, I made a deal, right?
Yeah,
And
or
he
something.
said-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
one I was like, bro.
Yeah.
He's terrifying.
You have to call
What
it.
a great actor.
You have to call it.
Josh, you said I can't get Master Shredder out of my head because that's what you.
Lucas.
Yeah, Shredder. Sorry, Shredder. Who did you say?
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah.
He was
Christoph Waltz.
he was very
I
unsettling.
did not like him for a long time because
No.
I also did not like Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gladiator.
After Gladiator.
Yeah.
I mean, for a while. It wasn't until he was in Walk the Line.
Yeah, that's pretty much
It
same for
literally
me.
was. I was like, oh, I hate this guy. And then Walk the Line, I was like,
Well, I remember when
Oh.
Walk the Line was coming out. This is, you probably weren't born yet. It's about Johnny Cash.
yeah.
Okay, so
he's a musician.
yeah,
I know this.
He sang about Folsom, which is a prison.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
you should check him out.
I know all about this from like.
But when I heard
History
Joaquin
buff.
Phoenix was gonna, when I heard Joaquin Phoenix was gonna play him, I was like, no, there's no way.
There's no
that
way.
little,
Bro, he did
Killed it, yeah.
phenomenal.
yeah.
the little dirty knife move at the end in Gladiator.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, we'll fight, and then when they're going up, he like sticks him in the lungs. Have you seen Gladiator?
Yes, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, and the second one's out, and I can't wait to go see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
It looks so legit.
I failed. Aiden hasn't seen Gladiator yet, so I'm gonna have him watch it, and then we can go watch that together.
It's been all over, like
my buddy
any streaming
Titus
services now. Yeah,
like he is so excited to the point where he got. Oh, wait, he probably went and watched it last night. It just came out.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Kramer was like,
It's out today.
guys' night, go watch Gladiator 2.
Yes,
I was like, heck yeah, let's go.
100%.
My
Let's
boys
go.
are dying to watch the
Okay,
first one.
I need to get Aiden. We need to have our sons watch the first one together, and then we'll go watch. We'll have them. Well, yeah, we'll go do a guys' night, and then we'll bring our boys again.
Yeah.
Aiden actually he qualifies for guys' night. He hangs out with more of the guys from the gym than I do because he's up there all the time.
Right.
One day I was just like, "Hey man, where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, I'm headed over to Brent's," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, all right, cool. See you later, bud."
Cool. Can I cut?
Awesome, man.
Can I go?
I wanna
Can I go
come.
hang out with my friend? No, he's bringing him some medicine or something that we had extra for nausea and vertigo.
Yeah, because he was having some fluid issues. Yeah.
Well, I was just getting ready to say something, but
Talking about guys' night.
oh no, my
Gladiator.
buddy Titus,
yeah.
that came down to Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu, he got the early screening.
Oh, yeah, he was
got
telling
tickets
us
to
that,
go to
yeah.
the
Oh,
early
sweet.
screening of it.
I
Like,
love
he
it.
was fired up.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, yes.
It's got to be amazing.
It's so crazy this long after the first
I
one to
know.
make a second one.
Yeah, he's training Jiu-Jitsu today again. He's getting back into it. So a
Sweet.
year ago, he tried it for the very first time. And it was just, it was a legitimate time priority thing.
Yeah.
He was finishing up school, doing all this stuff. Like, he just couldn't, in his mind, at the time, make the priority. And he was driving from, like, Keller area, Hazlitt, Keller area, all the way up to 55 in Highlands
that's
Village,
pretty
which was
far.
awesome. But yeah, he called me the other day. He's like, "Hey, bro, I'm getting back into training." He goes, "I'm letting you know so you can hold me accountable." I'm like, "Sweet, let's go." He texted me, I believe it was yesterday sometime. He's like, "Hey, you gonna be at the noon class?" I'm like, "I think I'm gonna be there."
Sweet.
Aiden might be there, and
I'll
Josh
be
might
there.
be there too. You're gonna be there
Oh,
too?
yeah. Oh.
So it'll just be, it's gonna be good getting him back into it and just having that accountability of just healthy relationships with guys. And that's what humans need. And this isn't just a guy thing. And I think this kind of opens the door to some of the things that we want to talk about. But that's what I love about the jiu-jitsu community is there's healthy accountability.
Yeah.
Through friendship, through camaraderie, through hard work. Some of the best friendships I have from the SEAL teams is because we endured hard training and like hard combat together. Guys that I went to Buds with that, it's crazy. I went to Buds with guys, and after SQT, I didn't see them. There's some of them that I haven't seen since SQT. So you're talking 22 years ago.
Yep.
And like we're in a group text. We have a group text for our Buds class, and we're just like we go back and forth.
Awesome.
You see pictures of guys, and you're like, "Holy cow, man! Like we're all old now." And what's funny is like I was on the younger guys, and so you have guys that in there in this group text, they're in their mid 50s, late 50s.
Oh, yeah.
But think about that. They went through Buds.
Yeah.
Older. And so it's just really cool. But those are guys that still to this day, like I was wanting to see one of them when I was up in Alaska, but it wasn't going to work out I don't think he was going to be there. I was like kind of, so anyways, it's just because of the hardship. And I think that's what's cool about jiu-jitsu is when you're in a good school like Double Five and your school as well, and we do a lot of cross training, and like Pedro's gym and Joao Rocha's gym and Steph and all those guys, like we cross train, we have good relationships.
Yep.
And it's that hard training.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like, there's no reason why when I see a guy like Pedro or Joao or Stefan, we should have the friendship we have.
No. Yeah.
If you really think
yeah.
about that
Yeah.
from the amount of interact versus like you interact with other humans and it's like, cool. Hey, you might like fist bump somebody or it's most like, hey, yeah, good to see you. When I see those guys, it's like, legitimate hugs. Love you, bro. How are you doing? How's your family? Legitimate conversations. And that's because of the hard training. That's because those guys murder me. They murder me.
Your life is in their hands.
Legitimately. Any of those guys
And they give it back to you.
They could play with me. They could do whatever they wanted. They could, but then they also teach me.
Right.
And so afterwards they'll be like, hey, something to think about, or hey, when you're here, this was actually good. You moved here, it made it hard for me to do this, but boom, this what. And so I think that's what's cool about jiu-jitsu. And I mean, obviously, we want you guys to train jiu-jitsu. We'd love for you guys to train jiu-jitsu. However, if it's just not your thing, find something that pushes you in your life with other people to help you grow. Like my buddy Jordan Merritt, he's the first person ever to run a marathon on a gas and oil platform out at sea.
Oh, yeah.
He's a freaking...
On that small little helicopter deck. Figure eights.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's freaking
Dude,
unreal. You know, his first marathon he ran, guess how long of a training cycle he had for that? You know, most people train, 6 to 9 months for a full marathon, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think his short training cycle was?
No clue.
Just
over a
guess.
year.
What do you think?
Well, I know the guy, too. He could probably do it, he could probably wake up and do it, but 2 months probably.
He signed up and did it. No
Yeah,
training.
see?
No training.
Yeah.
Just decided to...
Oh, you said short. I'm sorry.
See,
I thought you were
he's
saying
just
he had put more in.
He's just
No.
that's his thing, though.
But his thing is the mental fortitude that we
That's
all
awesome.
have.
Yeah.
And I know, we were talking about a study I did, and you were looking through some stuff. It's the mental fortitude that we all have.
Yeah.
We just choose not to listen and allow it to come into our life fully. I was talking to him. There was some running thing. I sent it to him because tomorrow we have the 2 Honor Those run. Josh and I, Aiden, Dane. Oh, Titus. Last night.
Signed up last night.
Yeah, he signed up for the half marathon last night because we were talking about jiu-jitsu. I said, yeah, I also have the half marathon on Saturday. I'm just gonna read his text because this just shows his heart and this is something you would do, Isaac, which I love.
Not for running, but
No, I was just gonna put the disclaimer in there, not for running.
I'm pretty much.
But in regards to friendship and support, this is you 100%.
That's great.
I said I'm also running a half marathon on Saturday for the To Honor Those virtual run fundraiser event that Echelon Front is hosting. He goes, dude, that is awesome. Where is it all? Oh wait, so I'm sorry. Not when this comes out. We're not. When this comes out, we'll have already done the run.
Yeah.
He goes, where is it all?
I'll be dead.
Yeah. He goes, dude, that's intense, man. Where is it all? Do you have people to pace run with you throughout the thing? All volunteer. So, when people do runs, sometimes they'll have people just come help pace the run for, a couple miles or whatever. I said, it's wherever you want to run it. I'm probably just going to run it in the neighborhood around here with Aiden and 2 other buddies who signed up for it. And I said, there's still time with a winky emoji.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
0 chance. So he signs up for a half marathon.
2 days from now.
He goes, heck, why not? Send me the sign up link. I was like, I was like, no way. So I send him the link, and then he sends me a screenshot after he signed up. And it says, thank you for registering for the First Responder Scholarship virtual run. And he goes, let's get after it. I'm like,
So I was gonna say, okay, if I was built like Titus, I could wake up tomorrow morning and be like, I'm gonna do this, but. Because he's he has no fat on him. He's lean, tall. He looks like a runner, but it doesn't matter who you are. You can't just go the night before, I'm going to sign up for this long, hard thing. So I'm saying it takes nothing away from his fortitude or his willingness to do it. I mean, Strauss is the same way. You were like, hey, you in? He's like, okay, sure. What is it? Then afterward, what is it?
Yeah. Are you in or you out?
Yeah.
That's the greatest
yeah.
thing that you can do with your friends. But there's rules and regulations to it. There has
Can't
to
put
be.
them in
yeah. And so, but I just thought it was cool that Titus, signed up for that just because, and even if he was going to come and help, support run. I'm like, bro, that's crazy. Cool. And then the jiu-jitsu thing. And so anyways, I just want to encourage you guys. Like I said, find jiu-jitsu cool. If not, maybe running's your thing. Maybe, I don't know. There's some other, cause that's why I went into the whole Jordan thing is he runs for mental fortitude.
Right.
He literally runs to push himself and to see what he has. And he's saying it's his alone time with the Lord.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so awesome. So finding something that allows you to shut off your brain, I think is very, very important for your growth, development, resetting, and I know we're getting ready to dive into some verses that can open some different talking conversations.
I was doing that fuel hunt 1 mile. It was
30 days.
30 miles. If you miss a time, you're out. And so I missed a time, but I still have done it since then. I just didn't do it as consistently, but I really enjoyed it. Just the consistency of it, but most of the time it was like we put the kids down, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go for my walk, and Kim's like, cool, I'll see you in a little while, and then but that little bit of focus time between when I left the house and when I got back, because it's not far, it's a mile. The route that I take is a little more than a mile, so cumulatively it'll be more. But like putting like, I don't know, probably 50 pounds, something like that, in a backpack, which is not a rucksack. It's like hanging, it's like over my lower back, so I have to like lean forward. But man, it's and it's not far, and it's on mostly flat ground and stuff, so it's not difficult. But
just
it's nice, man. Yeah, it's setting aside the time, doing it, and just like you said, find something that you're disciplined about, that challenges you. And then the most important part of what you said that doesn't apply to what I'm talking about is the community and the camaraderie, the fellowship that happens when you do something difficult.
Yeah.
But Zeke went with me on probably 7 of those walks, and he had a little 15 pounds.
I saw
that.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dad, are we going on a walk? But we had to do it after he goes to bed now. But he's like, Dad, are we going on our walk? Are you doing your walk today? Like, and it's cool already, that little camaraderie and fellowship between my son and I, So anyway, but to your point, so jiu-jitsu is unique because it's not just about the roles, it's like what happens after. And that's why like I see it. I didn't realize it at first, but now I'm purposeful about it. It's a mission field. Absolutely. As soon as someone is done rolling, the walls are down, they're ready to receive, and you can minister to people and you can have conversations with people that otherwise would never open up to you. Like there's a guy that's an atheist at Double Five, and
so
he's really outspoken.
To us?
No,
okay.
He's really exactly. I know. He's really outspoken about that, and he's a hard shell to crack. And so I haven't been trying to crack him. I've just been trying to be there for an opportunity when it opens up.
That's cool.
And we talk about. I just ask him about work and life, and every day after we roll, and I roll hard with him, then eventually there's avenues and opportunities to talk about that where otherwise.
Do you ever pray while you're rolling with him?
Oh yeah. I pray for him. I pray before, pray afterward.
Yeah.
It's I just see him and I'm like, oh, my heart is like heavy for him. Like I want him to know God,
He knows God. He just doesn't want to acknowledge him because of some trauma. Something happened.
We could tell. Nobody's passionate like that unless something happened.
Yeah. Nobody is that passionate about not believing in God or disliking God that much unless something has happened.
Yeah.
Nobody is born that way.
Yeah.
It's like racism. You're not born racist.
No.
You're not born with fear.
No.
They put kids into a room with snakes, and what do kids do?
Try to play with it.
They play with them.
Yeah.
And so I was actually just talking with the lady yesterday about at a workshop because she was talking about negative self-talk and confidence and emotional detachment. And then it's weird. It's the first time ever in 8 years. She's not weird. It was weird that she said this, and I had never heard this before. She goes, well, is medication an option? And I was like, well, I mean, I would say let's try not to make it the first default. Yeah. Because I think medication most times in society is an easy button instead of having to do the work or working through some times. My dad, as you guys know, he's struggled with all these surgeries.
Yeah. Yep.
He's been weaning himself off his painkillers. And I'm like, Dad, that's not safe. Like, I was worried. And he's like, I haven't been on painkillers for 2 weeks. I'm like, I was concerned. I called my mom.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, because what we were told it was supposed to be like a year process or up to 2 years to fully get him off pain meds. Well, something had happened last time we went to the hospital. He brought his pain meds with him. I don't know the full story because obviously I wasn't there. And my mom was just like, we don't know. And so he had brought all of his pain meds with him because sometimes when he goes to the hospital, they don't keep him on his regular pain meds. And then it makes it worse.
Right.
They're gone. His month's supply of pain meds were all gone. And so whether he lost them or they were stolen or I don't know, you know what I mean? And my mom wasn't saying either because she's like, we don't know. We don't know what happened. And so instead he was just like, all right, this is my world. I need to deal with this. And I was like, oh my gosh. But it was just a reminder that we as humans are impressive with what we can do when we choose to have the proper mindset. And I was just impressed that this is what my dad was doing. He goes, I've got to work through this. He goes, now if it's unbearable, I can go back to being on pain meds, and so anyways, it was just crazy. And then all of a sudden this lady's asking me about pain meds, and I was like, hey, to me, most of the time medication is the easy button.
Yeah.
And I don't want to diminish anybody that is medicated or has to be medicated.
Yeah.
I 100% know that is something that is necessary. 100, and I promise you, I am not diminishing it. My concern is how quickly people will just choose to be medicated instead of changing up their diet, changing up their sleep, changing up their physical activities, learning to emotionally detach. And you know what I mean? And so that's what her and I were able to talk about. And then it turned into something on the lunch break where she was like, diving deeper into it. And it was just a really good conversation as we kind of like pulled the thread on it. And she was like, no, And so I kept pushing her back to like, hey, faith and physical, like faith and physical activities. Like those are things that have always helped me. And I know they help a lot of people. But then I also told her, I'm like, hey, at the end of the day, because hers was like with anxiety. And she's like, it's just every time I go to the doctor's, I have to take my husband to the doctor's office. She was like, I have physical effects where my arms go numb. I can't breathe. And I'm like, what happened at the doctor's? She's like, well, nothing. And I'm like, so there's never been a bad experience at the doctor's? She goes, no. I was like, so she's like, well, they've just like, they found stuff. I'm like, so that's a good thing, right? So they found stuff ahead of time so you guys could take control and make decisions. She goes, I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, because she's
associating going to the doctors with bad news. And I'm like, hey, it's not ideal news, but if you didn't have that news when you had it, what would the situation have been?
Right. Worse news.
Way worse.
Find out later. Worse news. Yeah.
Leif was just talking about a guy that he knew that was just having like headaches and like foggy brain and like stuff like that. And Leif like kept telling him like, bro, you need to go get it checked out. You need to go get it checked out. You need to go. So anyways, then he tries to call the guy, doesn't get a response, sends him a text message, and gets a call from the guy's wife a week later. She's like, yeah, he went in because he was having some stuff, went in, and he had brain cancer and died. Like, gone. Yeah. And then they could have detected it a while ago. And I'm like, I ain't going to make a doctor's appointment.
I know, right?
But it's just, you don't know. And, the reason why I shared that story was, I was talking to this lady about fear, about how it is not, I was like, fear is something that we develop and we create. And, it's a client event, so I wasn't able to, I was kind of probing to see if she, where her stance was with faith. She wasn't giving me any indicators, so I was like, okay, I can't just start talking about spiritual warfare. I can, what's our buddy PJ says, you can do anything on your last day. I don't think obviously I'd get fired for that, but I just, don't want
to. PJ? I thought you always said that.
Oh, I stole it from PJ.
Oh, stolen. Okay.
Wait, I thought you said. Anyways, I've said it for a long time. I think our boy PJ says that.
Okay. Shout out to PJ.
Yeah, man. So I was like, I kind of wanted to dive into it, and like, it wasn't the right opportunity. But I gave her the example. I was like, hey, if you put kids in a room full of snakes, what do they do? She goes, they're curious. And I'm like, yeah. And what else? She's like, they play with them. I'm like, yeah. Why? Because there's no fear there. Yeah. They haven't been taught to have fear of snakes. Yeah. And I was just encouraging her to change the way she thought about going to the doctors as hey, this is a tool that gives us answers so that we can start working on different
the doctor's on my side. I'm going so I can get help from him.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was at the group discipleship meeting last month. I was talking about this.
I've got to make one. I'm like, every time we have one of those, I'm out of town.
We'll have one more on December 11th, Wednesday, December 11th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in town.
I have something on the 13th. I travel on the 12th. I don't think I have anything on the 11th
It's a
anymore. I had something on the 11th, and now it's gone.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So we're going over the last two chapters of Man Alive, but last time I was giving this illustration, just this image in my head of like what we do, like the strong silent type. We're talking about the strong silent type. I don't need help. And it was like, no, you do. And what you look like is you walked into the ER and you're like bleeding down your leg, but you have a jacket covering that wound. and you're like pale, and they're like, hey man, you need some help? No, I don't need any help.
I'm good.
Yeah, and you're like weak, and you're like, no, I don't need any help. It's like you clearly do. I can see you're bleeding out, and if you don't let me help you, you're gonna die. No, I don't need any help. And it's like, yeah, the longer you wait and the longer you try to be tough, the weaker you're gonna get.
Why are you attacking me right now?
Wait, what episode did you talk about this recently? Was it with when we were with Brant, or is it the one previous?
Did we talk?
I've heard you say this.
Yeah,
recently.
we talked about that. We were talking.
Or maybe in person.
Maybe we were talking because I said it at that thing. I don't know if you tuned in.
No.
Yeah.
The last the
group
the live one. I was not able to tune in. I was doing a workshop.
Yeah.
Or we're doing
that's right.
No, we're doing FT. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was doing something early.
Yeah, you were.
Or wait, was it when we were eating our burgers from P. Terry's around the tailgate?
Yeah.
Is that when you were talking about
we were
it?
and I think Titus and I were. Titus and but Brant, and we were talking
and Aaron?
about and Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't remember why it came up, but we were talking about the strong sign type. And I was just saying, I just was thinking about this. But yeah, you're like bleeding out, and the doctor's like, buddy, I can see you're dying. Like, you need to let me help you. But that's God. I mean, God sees every wound and, every hurt and all the damage that our sin has caused us. And, but yeah, it's funny to think about that illustration of like, dude, you're not fooling anybody. No. You're not getting any stronger by holding on to all this stuff.
Right.
So this is actually from something I wanted to talk about.
It's ego, bro.
Yeah.
Lucas and I just recorded our episode that comes out today.
Yeah, I saw the
is literally about ego because of that these special forces this group of special force soldiers had that was so unfortunate because these guys were so highly qualified. The Iraqi soldiers they were with were just gangster, and they could have been an incredible asset, and we could have just hunted the enemy together, but they just couldn't build a relationship with the conventional forces that own the battle space.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And
so
said
it took them off the battlefield, right?
Literally. And it was just like, okay. And so think about that. How many times does our ego pull us away from the Lord?
No.
How many times does our ego pull us away from doing hard things with good humans that would actually build us to be better?
Yeah.
It's just,
we don't want that. We don't want either. We think we're better than it, or we don't want our ego bruised because we think we can't.
Yep. Because it's going to be hard.
But it all goes back to ego.
It's funny you say that because we talked about before this Philippians 3.
Yep.
And there's lots of really good stuff in Philippians 3, but one piece that makes me zoom in on is about Paul saying he's writing this letter to the Philippians, and he's saying, for we are the circumcision who worship by the Spirit of God and glory in Christ Jesus. This is verse 3. And put no confidence in the flesh, though I myself have reason for confidence in the flesh also. If anyone else thinks he has reason for confidence in the flesh, I have more. Circumcised on the 8th day, of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, as to the law, a Pharisee, as to zeal, a persecutor of the church, as to righteousness, under the law, blameless. But whatever gain I had, I counted as loss for the sake of Christ. Indeed, I count everything as loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus as my Lord. For his sake, I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish in order that I might gain Christ and be found in him, not having a righteousness of my own that comes from the law, but that which comes through faith in Christ, the righteousness from God that depends on faith, that I may know him in the power of his resurrection and may share in his sufferings, becoming like him in his death, that by any means possible I may attain the resurrection from the dead. But I love this because he's saying like, hey, essentially it's like the confidence in the flesh is like, if you have any reason to boast, if you have any pride, if you have any ego, I have even more reason than you do to have ego. Like if you're talking about, he's writing to these people and saying, I was like the most perfect a Hebrew of Hebrews. I knew more. I was elevated to this status. There's like this long trajectory to become a Pharisee and to know, to have all the knowledge that you need to be a teacher, and all the memorization of scrolls and all these things. And he's saying like, listen, if you think that you have a reason to brag, I have even more so, but I'm telling you it's worth nothing. I count everything as loss. I count everything as rubbish in the compared to the surpassing worth of knowing Christ.
So what you just shared, was that taught to you, or did you learn it through studying? Like the way you just formulated that and articulated that is awesome.
Well, no, I think it's obviously through, it's not just through studying, it's through learning. So I've heard it articulated probably many, many times by many different teachers, but like God created this mosaic of understanding there. But then it's reinforced by my, so you just said that about ego. I was thinking about Philippians 3 already came up, and I was reading through it, and I was like, this actually applies. This is what Paul's talking about right here. So more steady reading will just contextualize some of the stuff. When you hear scriptures, like the notes that you wrote, those things are locked in. You reviewed them, and you're like, I remember when my pastor was talking about this and how this applies to this verse. So I think that's
I was just curious because the way you articulated that, I was like, and I was just curious if somebody had told you that and you retain that, because there are some people that can do that, right? They're teaching something, you retain it, and then you just are able to regurgitate it back out, which is awesome. And I was just curious, but I wanted to ask that question also just for our listeners to understand, like, hey, the more intentional you are with reading the word and listening to different pastors, like Stephen, what he does on, he's got some windshield time now with his new job, and, he's been listening to all of Lucas's sermons, and then he listens to other people's sermons. And I think, I was reviewing some old sermons from Pastor Tyron through our church's app, and it was just like, I was curious at how you, I don't know, just the way you articulated what you just said. I was like,
well, we know that
it's a gift. I think it's one of your giftings.
Well, that's all glory to God. The Holy Spirit gives giftings as He sees fit. So, utterance of wisdom or the word of knowledge or whatever it is. But we know that the Bible is like profitable. It says it's profitable for teaching and correcting and rebuking. But like, because the word is sharp, then it like as you speak it and memorize it and you discuss it with other people, it does its work. Like the Holy Spirit accomplishes whatever work God wants to accomplish through when we discuss His word. It's like, oh man, it's so cool because there's a million pastors that have shared on, I'm sure, over the years on Philippians 3. But like the more you hear people talk about it, also, I'm reading this book right now, or listening to the Audible version of a book called "To Live Is Christ, to Die Is Gain," and that's this chapter. Philippians 1. That's in Philippians 1. But the book is about all of Philippians, written by Matt Chandler, and the whole book is about just going through Philippians and talking about this idea that to live is Christ, meaning like to live is to glorify Christ and to work toward knowing Him and to sharing our love for Him and sharing His love with everyone. Like that's what to live is. To live is to glorify Christ, to get closer to Him, but to die is gain. Like, okay, either I live and I get to glory in, I get to enjoy God's Christ sanctifying me and me being conformed into the image of Christ. That's if I live. If I die, it's all gravy. It's even better because I get to be in His presence with Him.
It's pretty awesome. So I want to read something real quick. Philippians 4:8-9. The Apostle Paul writes, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put into practice, and the God of peace will be with you."
Yeah.
And so this, like with my notes, it was talking about thought, action, experience. And so if we think about such things, it's saying the thought part, and then the action is put into practice, and then experience, like the God of peace will be with you.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to be intentional, but we also have to take action.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest frustration when people are like, "Oh, I've just been praying about it. I'm waiting for God to do something." You have to put in some work.
Yeah.
You've got to put in some work. Now, I know there's times that you can, pray for miracles and healing and just for God to provide, and He does, and He can. But I really like the whole, the reminder of like, hey, we have to take action. We have to put in some work, you know, and God's going to reward you, and He honors people that work hard. And again, the work hard can be different, you know, it can, but anyways, it was just, and I was going through that devotional, and just going through that about how our thoughts shape our lives. And
absolutely,
I love that because, you know, it's something we all know to be true.
Yep.
And, you know, it's like, hey, you know, recent studies and everything. It's like, dude, the Bible wrote about this a long time ago, y'all.
It's been written down.
You know, that's the cool thing that, you know, like we know at Echelon Front, and Leif talks about, he goes, hey, these are biblical principles.
Yeah. Yep.
And, you know, we're not reinventing anything. And, you know, what was it? We were driving down there. It was with Aiden, Titus, and Aaron Archer and I, which that was a fun little truck down to Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu. And, you know, Titus, I can't remember how many times he said, he's like, nothing is new under the sun. Meaning this has been around since the moment God designed us.
Yes.
And, anyways, just really cool.
Well, to combat, I want to hear Strauss say something, but
I'm soaking it in, man.
So that lady that you talked about with her anxiety, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. It might have been like, I don't know, half the episodes ago, like 40 something. But we talked about the way to combat that anxiety is, or depression, is to, obviously, God transforms us. We're transformed by the renewing of our mind. Yeah. So part of our sanctification and be more like Jesus is our thoughts actually transforming. Yep. But this is the recipe to combat anxiety. So whatever is honorable, whatever's just, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's commendable, if there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. So that's like teaching you one of the ways that how our mind is renewed is our thinking is on these things instead on the things of the Spirit.
Yeah. And it also says in Proverbs 23:7, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's excellent.
So I need to ask myself, this is one of the notes I wrote down. So I need to ask myself, do I like the direction my thoughts are taking me? And then with God's help, you can transform your mind.
Yes.
You know,
and you have to be intentional with those thoughts.
100. Yeah. Just you know what Pastor Chris, you know, told me. You know, I shared on the episode that Mike and I did about the backpacking trip, and I think I've shared it a few other times. Is discipline produces desire. You know, and the more disciplined I am with being in the Word and praying and worshiping God, the more I'm going to want to do that. That produces the desire. Desire doesn't produce discipline.
No.
Like you have to be disciplined, and then the more you know, it's very similar to Jocko's discipline equals freedom. But I like the way Chris said it, in regards to like really transforming the way you think.
Well, and kind of what you said earlier, like you can desire whatever it is. It could be a thing. It could be whatever. You can desire it all you want, but you have to put in some type of work to get those things.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah.
That's where the discipline part comes in.
Yeah, man. That's it's like the motivation thing too, you know, motivation and discipline. It's like motivation comes and goes. Yeah. So does desire.
What was it? Jim Rohn says, you need motivation. Motivation is like showering. I recommend you do both of them daily.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
A biblical principle, or you were talking about the discipline and how that creates the desire.
Yeah, discipline produces desire.
Yeah, it's there was something I was thinking on that point that was biblical. That's biblical. So I was talking about, it relates to how like I think I told you, but I took this class with Kim before we got married. We were dating, and they had like it's called Symbis, Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts.
Oh, well,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. We took it through a church. It was a 10-week course, and we met on Wednesdays, but we had a workbook that we did through the week, and then we met. And it's funny because it's kind of like outdated and stuff, but it's amazing. Like the content will last forever, and I still think about things from that. One of them was about desire and it's like desire and commitment or covenant. Okay. So it was like in the exact same way. So discipline and desire you talked about, but like the marriage is made up of those things. It's sustained by both of those things. So it's like there are days where I'm like, I really feel passionate like really feel passion. I think it was passion. I really feel passionate about my wife. Like I see her and I'm so grateful for everything she does, and it draws my heart toward her, and I really feel like doing everything right because I want to honor her. Yeah. And then there's days where I get up and I'm like, I mean, like we're frustrated with each other, or we're tired, we didn't get sleep, and it's like, but at no point do I have the option to be like, nah, I'm not doing this today. Like, no, I'm still married. I still have to honor her. I still
choose
have to pursue her.
Love her every single day.
You can do anything on your last day.
True. Well, my commitment is what leads me. So it's like sometimes passion, sometimes commitment. But both of those things keep me in the fight. Yeah. And so the same way with reading the word.
I would actually say maybe slightly, I don't want to push back and challenge what you said. I would modify what you said. I think some days it's just commitment, and some days that passion is fueled by your commitment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? I don't want somebody to hear like, that passion is, I think the passion is stronger because of the commitment.
Yeah. I totally agree. The clarification.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, the clarification.
Some days you're just doing it because you're committed, because you're like, you know what? You don't feel like loving your wife. You don't feel like, dude, there's days like I don't feel like loving on Amanda, but I know, you know what she needs right now? A hug. Yeah. And I need to go hug her. Yeah. And there's times that she'll remind me, she goes, I just need you to hug me sometimes. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't want to. Yeah. She goes, well, you're married to me, so get over here. And I'm like, okay, I'll go over there with my arms down.
Yeah. I guess it's rooted in discipline. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like some days, like, and Jocko talks about this, like, if you only worked out when you felt like working out, you would barely work out. But if you work out because you know that's what you're committed to doing, then you're going to do it super consistently. Yeah. So in the same way, I can't rely, like, my people, I think, get married, and when they're young, maybe they think like, oh, well, just this feeling of like just being so excited to do everything my wife wants, to be everything my wife needs me to be. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm just purely fueled by like
feelings.
Yeah, feelings. Yeah, no. You guys have been married long enough. We've all been married long enough to be like, nope.
Bro, if you're married over a month, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
and this isn't a bad thing.
No,
it's commitment, and it's commitment, and it's like that's the love grows from the commitment. The passion grows from the commitment. And it goes like what you're saying. Like if I just woke up, if I just worked out when I felt like it, I wouldn't do it most days because I'm not in that rhythm. Yeah. But if I've been disciplined with working out, I actually do wake up and desire it because that discipline produced that desire. Right. It's like when we committed to this run. I was like, all right, this sucks. I don't like to run, blah, blah, blah. And then I recognized what I was saying. I'm like, yeah, no wonder I don't run, because I always say I don't like to run. Yeah. So I stopped saying that. I tried to take that away, like out of my vocabulary, because if I keep saying it, well, then that's the truth to me. And, I've had some, as you guys know, some health issues, the last, what is it now, 6-7 weeks. So I haven't been able to run as much as I wanted. Yeah. Well, for this current window.
Since I've known you.
Yeah.
Which one is it this time?
Shut up. Since the hike. Since August, September. Anyways, whatever. But like legit stuff that I couldn't like work out. And I'm like, man, I made that commitment. But it doesn't matter. I still wanted to run because the few times I was running, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I was seeing some progression of how I was feeling, and a few times even caught that elusive runner's high that people talk about.
I haven't found that yet, but
dude, it's awesome. Like I caught it one time and I was like, they weren't lying. And then I was like, oh wait, yeah, this is how it used to be in buds. Like you hit it, you'll get it, and then also afterwards.
So I've never had the runner's high, but I always, the way I feel after, I'm like
the endorphins.
You're like, yeah,
and that's what my dad's always said. Like, hey man, he's like, the endorphins and the high that you get from a hard workout or something. He goes, that helps reduce pain. You know? And so, anyways, I know we're going down a different rabbit hole.
Well, no, I mean it's all connected, dude. It's all there's so many good things in there. Yeah. I mean, just jumping from Philippians 3 to 4.
Oh yeah,
it's all connected.
Cool,
Strauss.
I'm out. That's good.
Okay.
Cool. That was really good.
Thoughts or things you wanted to say?
He's going to close us out with prayer. I guess. So.
Perfect. I can do that.
Do we have any? Okay, so next discipleship group is December 11th.
I'll be
Wednesday.
I'll be there.
6:30. We're going over chapter 7 and 8 of Man Alive. It's the last 2 chapters. That way we can wrap before the end of the year, and then we'll start a new book in January.
Sweet. Ooh, sweet.
We have
Jesus and JiujitsuUSA.com.
Yep.
Go there, grab some merch that helps support the ministry. Also, for those of you that tithe to us, we appreciate it. Hey, it's the end of the year. If you would like or you feel drawn to donate to the ministry to help reduce your tax bracket, you can do that as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I say that kind of joking, but also serious because it's funny. Like people get towards the end of the year and they're like, all right, I got to, donate, which is cool. But in my mind also, I'm like, all right, cool, do it. But next year, maybe like know that you're going to do it and then maybe do it quarterly or monthly to help those ministries or those organizations out throughout the year. But, we, like most ministries that we know and organizations, like, Mama Lee's Charity and, there's a few other ones, we're also very responsible with our funds.
Yep.
And so if you donate now, we're going to make the most of it all year long. So we appreciate that. Yep. But yeah, the merch, go on the website.
We got a couple new products. We got a shaker cups now, Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu branded sport shakers.
100% American made.
Yep. They're awesome.
They're EPA and FDA approved, which is like a good
hard to
thing.
do.
It's very hard to do. Costs us a little extra money, but worth it, I think.
Totally. We also have, I don't know how many we have left. I think we have maybe on the website just probably 20 left, but we have these little PVC.
We have 19 left.
Okay, patches. yeah. 19 PVC.
I'm ordering one as soon as we
yeah.
get done. I realized I didn't have one.
Yeah, well, definitely I got you. And then so go there. And then we're a 501c3, and so we have an actual like nonprofit giving platform called PushPay. Your church probably uses it. Mm-hmm. So you can, when you go to our website, JesusandJujitsuUSA.com, there's a give button at the top. If you click that, it gives you the option to donate. You can make it recurring, you can make it one time, and then there's different funds that you can give to, whether you want to sponsor a podcast episode or you want to give toward some specific program, you can do that there in the funds. But you will get a receipt for your donation through PushPay.
It also helps us sponsor people to go to pursuits.
Yep.
So I know we're talking with Lucas, and he knows a young guy. I say young guy, he's younger than me, so which is a lot of people these days. Just came to that realization this week. I was like, oh, I am now that old guy.
Yeah.
I'm 41. But anyways, this guy needs to go to Pursuit, and he doesn't have the funds to. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to talk about it. Obviously, I'm not making this an official thing right now, but our intent was to help grow awareness of Walking in Truth Ministries and Pursuit, and get people through Pursuit.
Yep.
Because that's also our baseline for people that are like, hey, we really want to help out with Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu and help you grow the ministry. Cool, go to Pursuit. Because that's just part of our baseline for people to be active in the ministry with us. Mm-hmm. That's our foundation. Mm-hmm. And if you're wondering why, we can jump on a call, we can jump on a Zoom and work and just kind of talk through it. But, when people donate and tithe to the ministry, it also allows us to partially or fully sponsor people to go to pursuits that need it, which is incredible because now by you donating and helping give to the ministry, you played an active role in helping change somebody's life. Mm-hmm. Generational curses that they're going to be able to get rid of, and they're changing, and there have been people that have gone to Pursuit that have now changed the generational path of like not saved to now they're saved.
Yep.
Like if you look at Anthony and his wife.
Oh man.
And Nico.
Yep.
This is all he's going to know.
Yeah.
Nico is only going to know the love of the Lord and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right? He's in the gym and he's at church.
Yes.
He's in the gym, he's at church. He's a good kid. And you look at that kid, he has a good heart. And that's because Anthony and Sam have made changes.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's just awesome. I love what we get to do, and I think it's really cool. And we have a Pursuit. When this comes out, will they be able to sign up in time if it's a last minute?
Yeah. When does this come? This will come out on this coming week.
Yeah. So
they'd have a week. This comes out the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's next week. So if you're like, hey, you know what? I want to know more about Pursuit, or maybe you've listened to us for the last however long and God's been nudging you. Well, here's your final nudge. Reach out to us and let's go. Let's make it happen.
We got about five spots left, so please let us know because
this is your Pursuit.
Yeah.
So,
let's go.
All right.
Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this time this morning with my brothers. Thank you for the conversation, and then getting to dive into the Word and dig through that and dissect it and make practical applications to what we can and should be doing with our lives, Lord. Thank you for giving us that Word, Lord, that guidance that we have anytime that we can open and hear from you. I thank you for our listeners and viewers, for their support. We're very appreciative of that, Lord. I pray you would bless them for that, Lord, and keep them safe in what they're doing today, whether in the gym, in the car, or at work, Lord. And again, I thank you for what we get to do. I pray you continue to bless us and help us to be good stewards and mouthpieces for you, Lord, and bring us back safely next time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, thank you for listening. Thanks for joining in. We love you guys, and we're praying for you continually. Thank you for supporting Jesus in Jiu-Jitsu. This has been the Jesus in Jiu-Jitsu podcast, episode 090.
Go train.